Storm Rage, but my question is actually about Warlocks. And leveling throughout Mist of Pandaria, me and my guildmates have noticed that, specifically Destro Locks, that they have been able to top charts. And now in Warlords of Draenor, it feels like with the ability pruning and stat reduction, that they're going more of a utility route than a DPS route. So in a rating aspect.
From the data I've seen so far, Destro Warlocks are doing just fine on damage in actual raid encounters. We've had people on PTR, on beta, testing out raids, and they're not doing badly. Destro.
Hey, I am Cyrus from Emo Dream. You talk about making classes simpler, but the Red 100 talent involves stance dancing, which you took away from Warriors. What was your reason for that?
Well, as we alluded to earlier, some of the philosophy on talents has been letting you choose how much depth and complexity you want to have on your class. So you could choose something very passive you don't have to worry about that just takes care of itself. Or you can choose something that's very active and involved. And we actually like those kinds of talent choices. So that it was within that spirit of an idea.
Kamikazes, Dave from Whitney, you're first. I have a question about roads. We have a lot of abilities. First behind the boss, like killing spree, and now death from above. And when he uses his abilities without Conquer Shadows or evasion, we end up dying. Is there any way you can fix that?
So we do have some encounter-specific handling for encounters where at the back of the boss is literally a bottomless pit, that sort of thing. I mean, we've put in custom handling for bosses since some of those abilities went in, whether it was like Magmon, Ragnaros back in Cataclysm, Eltraxian, and so forth. The thornier problem becomes when it's a regular mobile boss, but there just happens to be a void zone or some fire or some rear cleave happening at that moment. And I think we tend to come down on the side of that being one of the tactical elements of deciding when and whether you push those buttons. You do have...
Ron from Ravencrest. On beta, there was no profession-crafted greens. Are you planning on adding that before live?
Was that profession-crafted greens?
Correct.
We actually looked at professions a lot, and we didn't like that professions made a lot of stuff that no one used early on, and we actually have... As you level up, there's actually profession blues now. You can craft, rare gear. It's even better than it was before. But we didn't like that you were making, 60 items to level up, and then all those items would just get thrown away or DE'd. So we wanted to go a different route and actually have you craft things that you would use, and that felt a little bit more epic.
Hey, I'm Vadia from Bloodhoof. I'm a mage. Could there be a possibility in the future for players who are queuing for dungeons, when you select your role and what dungeon you want to go into, say you already have all the armor items, what if you're going for something for which the need-greed system does not apply, say achievements or another item, say the Headless Horseman mount they've been trying 9 years to get? Could we have a little more control over it?
I think when we look at the way we do matchmaking, we have to be very careful of the way we break that up, because if you're looking at the Dungeon Finder, you could already say that one of the biggest problems with Dungeon Finder is long queues for DPS. And the more you allow people to specify exactly what they're there to try to do and try to do much more detailed matchmaking, the queue times blow up incredibly. We do have the new group finder for that, though, because the group finder, what we found was we really wanted to acknowledge that people do content for different reasons, but we want to make sure that that's in a place that doesn't create weird queue effects for the dungeon finder. So with the group finder, you can create the custom group and really try to get people to join that group, and hopefully over time we'll continue to develop that feature to allow you to, advertise it and evangelize it more and more.
From Area 52, I play a rogue. Thank you very much for changing the combo points to allow switching between targets without loss. My question is, do you have any plans to update the combo point UI to better facilitate that process?
It's a really good question. We debated possible changes to it, but we couldn't find a really good answer that made us happy. Ultimately, you're
Brinko, I'm from Warbringer on Emerald Dream. I come from a PvP guild. I'm a Holy Paladin. I have a Resto Druid. I have a Holy Priest. My question is more based on the PvP with the healing challenging for healers.
Well, certainly, I think there have been various points during Warcraft history, including recently, where healing was really strong in general, and that can kind of lead to that, where you're just kind of grinding out fights that don't really get resolution. Chris already spoke to the changes to smart heals to make them a little bit less smart. Clearly, in a 2v2 arena, there's only so much less smart a smart heal is going to get. But I think if you're looking broadly at the pace of PvP, where we're kind of slowing down the pace of it, but trying to make sure that things like mana stay relevant, that can keep a healer a lot more engaged. There've definitely been points in arena history where healing was very interesting, where you're using not only your crowd control, but also having to manage your mana, and hopefully we'll strike that balance better.